Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at this week's official prices. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Alright, so we got a big week of releases. Let's go ahead and run down through all of our Necromunda, Old World, and Warhammer 40k prices. So getting started here at the top of the list, we have the new Necromunda Hive Secundus core game. And this is technically a Necromunda expansion, but includes everything you need to play. $170 USD or 210 Canadian for Necromunda Hive Secundus. And I think this is a good choice. Obviously, it's a little on the expensive side as far as like games in general, but for Games Workshop, it's one of the lower price like big box sets with everything you need to play. I think this is a great entry point for Necromunda. And while it would be nice if it had some of like the newer style terrain in it, the Zone Mortalis stuff, and I do much prefer that, I think eliminating that from the set, selling it separately, and then doing a much more reasonably priced core game is a good idea. So $170 or 210 Canadian for Necromunda Hive Secundus. And this is definitely on my list for things to pick up. Alright, and then next we have the first of the terrain expansion sets, and this is the Necromunda Hive Dataset Cluster. So two of these bad boys in the set, $52 USD or $63 Canadian. So 26 bucks a piece for these basically. You do get two of them. Pretty awesome new style terrain piece. Definitely going to be integral to Necromunda for some of the missions. And a cool new look to them. Big fan. Again, these are on my list. Alright, and then next we have the Necromunda Ruined Zone Mortalis box set. So this is a plastic box set of terrain, an expansion basically that goes along with the existing Zone Mortalis stuff. I got a bunch of this stuff and it is awesome. Probably the best terrain Games Workshop has ever made. You're going to get everything shown here in the pictures, and that is $85 USD or $100 Canadian. So for the amount of stuff you get in this box set that goes along with your existing Zone Mortalis stuff, I think this is a pretty nice setup. Now, if you don't currently have some of the Zone Mortalis stuff, you actually don't get like a ton of functional terrain in this box on its own. It's more designed to go along with the existing Zone Mortalis stuff. So as an expansion, I think it's really nice. As like a standalone set, it's a little bit lacking because you don't get any of like the regular wall pieces, and you really only get like one useful piece of like floor. The ruined doors and pipes and everything are pretty cool, but again, without some of the existing Zone Mortalis stuff, it's kind of lacking. But at 85 bucks for this box set or $100 Canadian, especially if you already have some Zone Mortalis stuff, this is nice. I'll definitely be picking up at least one of these. Alright, and then next coming for Necromunda in Forge World Resin, we have the Proxy and Fixer hanger-ons. So 42 bucks total for the two of these guys. They do come in a pack together. They are Forge World Resin, $52 Canadian for them. Definitely some nice looking models, basically 21 bucks a piece for them. Really nice sculpts, well designed. But you guys know I'm not a big fan of the Forge World Resin. And when it comes to a lot of these Necromunda characters, you could easily convert your own and make something cool. So very cool, nice models, but this is an easy pass for me. Alright, and then we have the Carta Galactica, the Secundus Exclusion Zone map. So $32.75 for the map or $37 Canadian. And then moving into the Warhammer Old World releases. So we've got a ton of dwarves on the list here, so we're going to try to rapid fire through these. So this is the book, basically your battle tome or codex for the Dwarf Army. $28 USD or $33 Canadian for this. Then we have the Dwarven Mountain Holds Battalion. So this is your big box set, essentially your starter army for the dwarves. And this is $185 USD or $220 Canadian. A lot of models in this box set. They are all old sculpts. There's no character included in this box set with like the new stuff like we saw with some of the other ones, including the Bretonnians and Tomb Kings. So it's a lot of old plastic for a relatively good price. And I think this will be pretty popular as a lot of people have been waiting on these dwarves. Alright, and then next we have the transfer sheet, reference cards, and Dwarven Mountain Holds dice. So the transfer sheet is $35 or $45 Canadian. Pretty pricey for just a sheet of transfers. Reference cards are coming in at 40 bucks or $50 Canadian. So in the past, we've seen all these reference card set coming out at $35. So this is basically a $5 price increase or about like 12.5%. So hate to see that coming from Games Workshop, but I gotta say I'm not surprised. And then next we have the dice. So 20 dice in the set and $44 USD or $55 Canadian. Again, another big price increase from Games Workshop. Previously, the dice were 40 bucks for 20. Now they're going up 44. So again, another 10% price increase from Games Workshop. So it's very clear at this point in time that they have not stopped with the price increases. Even though they recently did their actual like announced price increase, They're continuing to raise prices as things come to pre-order, so hate to see them just leaning in so hard on the greed. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now, back to the video. Next, we have the Dwarf Lords with Shieldbearers. This is a plastic box set, brand new design, $52 USD or 63 bucks Canadian for this little pack. Then we have the Dwarf Stain with Handgun on Oathstone. $44 USD or $54 Canadian. And again, a new sculpt coming in Forge World Resin. Ungrim Ironfist, the Slayer King of Karak, Kadrin. Once again, Forge World Resin, $44 or $54 Canadian. And then we have a bunch of classic dwarves returning. A lot of them are in plastic, some are coming in metal, and then additional ones in resin. So we're just going to rapid fire these off. So we have the Dwarf Ruinsmith in plastic coming in at $30 or $35 Canadian. The Dwarf Warriors in a plastic box, $85 or 100 Canadian. Dwarf Quarrelers in plastic box, 85 USD or 100 Canadian. Dwarf Ironbreakers plastic box, 85 USD or 100 Canadian. And then Dwarf Hammerers in a plastic box, $85 or 100 Canadian. And then we got a bunch of the Dwarven War Engines coming back as well. So we have the Grudge Thrower in metal for $52 or 63 Canadian. Bolt Thrower, $52 or 63 Canadian. Flame Cannon, $52 or 63 Canadian. And then we have the Slayers in a metal box, $85 or 100 Canadian. We've got the Goblin Hewer, $65 or 80 Canadian. Bugman's Cart, $42 or 53 Canadian. Anvil of Doom, $65 or 80 Canadian. The Dwarf Command metal box, $47 or 56 Canadian. And then we have Imperial Dwarves in metal, $52 or 63 Canadian. Slayer Command in metal, $45 or 55 Canadian. And then Doom Seekers, $47 or 56 Canadian. So definitely a big week of releases. A lot of long-awaited stuff coming with the brand new releases for Necromunda, with the new releases, and then also bringing back a lot of the dwarves from the old world. Unfortunately, we are seeing the price increases continue over time. Not only are we seeing like the existing range prices going up, but we're also seeing Games Workshop just steadily raising prices as they release new products as well. I'm glad that they kept down the price on Secundus by leaving out a lot of the terrain that they've previously packaged in these box sets for Necromunda. It's going to make the game a little more approachable at 170 bucks. You get a lot of models in the set, you get everything you need to play. And I think that Hive Secundus is going to be nice and appealing for new players. People that are excited about Necromunda to get their foot in the door. Also, the terrain packs are pretty nice. Definitely a big fan of those. As far as the dwarfs are concerned, this box set is actually a really nice deal, especially when you look at like the individual prices on stuff. You do get a lot of models in this box set for a relatively good price. A little cheaper than what we're seeing with like the typical battle forces when they come out. As far as the reprints of like the box sets, the metal clams and everything, the dwarves are definitely on the pricey side, and the old world, while it's fairly popular, I think it has a very limited reach. So Games Workshop is definitely taking advantage of being able to charge really high prices for this stuff. Now, if you've been trying to get this stuff over the years, third party, especially if you're after it in like newer condition or still in the boxes, relative to that, this stuff is priced extremely good. But as far as like the actual models that you're getting, a lot of these are like 20 and 30-year-old kits, and being priced essentially in line or in some cases more expensive than the stuff that Games Workshop is putting out now. And it's definitely not nearly as good of like actual sculpts or quality. So to play the actual old world game, I think you get some good deals, especially if you're buying like the actual battalion sets. But if you're looking to collect like the stuff from the old range, especially if you're after like a few of each of these different box sets, the old world is definitely on the pricey side. So let me know what you're most excited about. I know a lot of people have been waiting for the dwarves. A lot of people have been excited for Hive Secundus and the new Necromunda stuff. But what do you think of the actual kits? What do you think of the actual prices? Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. As always, special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on Games Workshop products. And keep in mind that these pre-orders will go live from CMO Games on Friday at midnight, the first opportunity that you can lock them down. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm definitely picking up some of the Necromunda, but I'm glad I didn't get into Old World. And I'm out of here.